Alright, I got a weird one here. This is a Gaco. Unknown name, unknown model. All I have is Gaco written in two spots. Right here on the stock. And right here on the top of the barrel there. No place of manufacture, no serial number. And I really just have a couple shots in the dark as far as what it's all about. Let me fix the camera up here and we'll take it apart, take a look at it. So when I was a kid, my dad and I mowed enough lawns where my dad would let me get another 22. I had a little Ruger 1022, but this thing took short, long, and long rifle rounds, and even took the tiny little German rounds. I can't remember the name of them, but they were just primer fired, and it made a good squirrel eradication device. What I think is that it's a ripoff or a copy of a Winchester 67 model and possibly a Stevens 53B. Now the Winchester has a flush fitting screw, this does not, and the 53B has this area cut down on, holding the bolt there. So it's definitely nothing like that. I honestly think that it was just a cheap model of the Model 67 because I think that this thing was made during the Depression or a few years before. I looked up the name online, can't find anything really. How it works is put your round in here, close your bolt, pull your plunger back, which is your hammer, and then pull the trigger. It's got a couple cool features on it. You got adjustable tangent sight here and a drift pin adjustable front sight that somebody dropped or something. It takes a sharp left there. I was always hitting okay with it, so I never changed it. There's no crown on the end of the barrel. It tells me that it was just a cut blank and done, I don't want to say hastily, but definitely cheap. So take it apart real quick. In order to get the bolt out, pull the trigger back, bolt comes right out. One thing I do like about this machining screw is that it's a captured screw. Hold on to it. Barrel pops right off. And you have a very, very crude trigger mechanism here. You got one tiny little screw in there and one cross pin bolt. That's all it's doing. When that trigger is pulled, all it's doing is it's pulling this section here back, when this is back here, and then snapping it in there with the firing pin right here. Bolt comes apart in two pieces pretty quick. And you're done. I think I picked this little guy up for like $70 back in, hell, it had to be 2000 or so. Put it back together. All we're doing is sliding this back in here, screwing it down, pulling that trigger, the bolt's in. Sometimes this will loosen up after you fire 50 or 60 shots through it. One of my favorite things is to just go to the range and sit down at 50 yards and see what I can do with it. It's cheap, it's inexpensive to shoot, or at least as inexpensive as you can shoot nowadays. And it's just kind of cool. I like the history behind it. It was made in a time when it was needed to be made, really, when you had families on the run, not on the run, but just bad times. So the Winchester 67s came out in a lot of different variances as far as having a short barrel, long barrel, smooth bore barrel, target sights. I think there was the 6.67 which came out, which had a scope mount on it. You don't see anything that fancy on this model. So I'm going to post this video. I'm going to keep posting videos on weird stuff that I have like this. And I'd love if anybody knew anything about it. Drop a comment. because I can't find anything. There's a German Gaco company. They made a few rifles, and they make German match grade 22 ammo. But other than that, it's just a Depression era clone that I just think is cool as heck. Alright guys, that'll do it for today. Thanks for hanging out to the end. Have a good one.